You seriously found another good goalie?
What, like it's hard?
Low-quality fans of a high-quality Bruins team, welcome back. We're back. We're so back, dudes and dudettes. A lot going on these days, but this was a nice little return to hockey. There's nothing that you can say right now about this game. So that the Bruins had a prospect challenge, first game of the tournament, today at 3:30 p.m. They had it streamed on their website, which I hope the rest of the games are also streamed on the website. They had a co-broadcast for a Penguins and a Bruins broadcaster so that there was information about both teams. It was really nice. It was a nice return to hockey. This is not something that we need to be super critical of. We don't need to dunk on all these players or get aggressive about these takes or anything like that because we'd be wasting our breath. Let's talk about some nice stuff, some interesting things, just kind of an overall, let's shake the rust off, feel out where some people are, just classic, good, clean commentary. Because I gotta be honest, last year was tough, and by the end of the season, myself, along with many others, but myself, who I should be holding accountable, just so negative about so much. And I think it was an interesting challenge because it is the first year while doing this channel that the Bruins really challenged me to stay positive. And I don't know if I met the standard. I didn't meet the standard that I would have loved. So I think there's going to be a lot more focus on that this year of just the unrelenting optimism and the fun and the entertainment value of it all, rather than just harping on every little thing. I'm obviously going to have critiques. A huge part of this channel is critiquing players that can do things that I can't even fathom doing myself. But I just want to stay more positive. This channel is for my mental health as much as anyone else's, so that's what we're going to attempt. And especially starting with a prospect challenge in which if you're taking grand gestures out of, if gestures is the wrong word, if you're taking these sweeping statements about the future of these players off of these games, probably not great, right? It's probably a little too much. But there are some players who are standing out a little bit. Remember, the range of the ages of the players is fairly decent, 18 to 23, I think 23. So some of them are already in the NHL and have played games in the NHL. Some of them are brand spanking new and trying to figure out what they're doing. So there's going to be a lot of variance in how you can actually judge these players. The starting lineup for the Bruins, and this isn't going to be a full breakdown of the game because, frankly, that would probably put most of you to sleep. And it's, again, something really difficult to judge when you have a bunch of guys who are not used to playing together and all of a sudden they're supposed to be meshing like this. The Bruins through two periods were getting annihilated. They were getting smacked around for the most part. And a lot of it was just from miscues. They couldn't seem to connect with each other on anything, especially defensively. Two of our best players in this game, in my mind, going into it, who would you expect, would be Johansson, which I'm going off of the now pronunciation of the broadcasters. They said they did their research. So Johansson, who I've been previously calling Johansson, and then Gallagher would probably be the defensive pairing that I would have liked the most going into this. And they just couldn't seem to get on the same page. So I'm going to focus on them individually rather than what they did as a unit. But the starting lineup was Harrison, Minton, Bancroft, Simpson, Lasmelis, another name that I'm trying to figure out the pronunciation, even though I've been obsessed with him forever, Duran, Vermette, Schmaltz, Edwards, Cheveldayoff, Chandler, Lachance, Edward, Brzezinski, Johansson, Gallagher, Young, McKinnon, and then Zajac and Heribucker. I have no idea how to say that one. He didn't play in this game. So I did find that fascinating. Obviously, the most interesting people in this game from a Bruins standpoint, as far as the immediate future goes, is Lasmelis, Minton, Simpson, Duran, Johansson. I'm going to struggle with that one so much. Gallagher, Jackson Edward, not the other Edward. And then actually, I think that's pretty much it. Zajac turned into what is one of the more interesting people in this game. Optimism. I kind of grouped these together as tiers. There's three tiers. The lowest tier is players who just didn't stand out all that much. They might have had a moment here or there, but didn't do enough to really command a lot of brain waves focusing on them. That list is really quick, and we'll just get through it. The backup goaltender, who we didn't see. We also, Young and McKinnon at third pairing. Largely, Young was all over the ice. He was very active. It was just glaring how often he was making a poor play. But again, we're not judging too severely here. Everyone's getting their feet wet. Jackson Edward, did not stand out in this one, which is funny because Edwards, the forward, did stand out a little bit for a moment where he had a clear boarding call. So you would have expected that from Jackson Edward, but not the other one. Either way, Vermette, Schmaltz, Chandler, unfortunately, I was really hoping to see some fun stuff. He had a moment here or there, but he didn't really do much. And then Lachance, who actually scored our only goal, but that's like the only thing he did the whole time. And it was literally he's in the right dot and just threw it on net, and it just found its way off the inner thigh through the 5-hole and in. Offense was really hard to create for our team. The second tier, the ones who had a little bit to give here, there's some focus on them because of what they did, was Gallagher, who I thought tenacity-wise, full on display. Like, this was a guy who, once again, you watch and you just go, he empties it. Every shift he empties it. He's not a huge dude, but he gets under you. He'll take the puck away. He has good puck vision. And although there are a lot of mistakes between him and Johansson, I felt like they were continuing to improve with each shift. And him in particular was finding new ways to attack defensively to try to snuff out some of these plays. The same thing wasn't working on him over and over by the same guys, I guess is what I'm saying there. The other defenseman that fits that middle category is Brzezinski. I thought that he, for the most part, wasn't impressive in like a defensive category of staying in front of the play. I didn't think his vision was standing out or anything like that, but he was an eliminator. His focus was, okay, well, there's the threat. I'm going to take care of the threat, and someone will figure out the puck stuff later. I kind of enjoyed that aspect of it. I'm just going to go in, see if I can create a little havoc. As long as the puck doesn't go in the net, I'm fine. That's actually kind of the defenseman I was back in the day, which was I didn't have a lot of skill to get the puck to the net and score any goals or anything like that. But as long as I took out the guy who could score, we're fine, right? The puck didn't go in the net. I did my job. The modern game requires a bit more than that. But I thought Brzezinski had some nice moments. He made sure to put a shoulder into anyone who was sniffing around, cleared the net front pretty well. I just think he deserved a little shout out to be in that middle category. Also in that middle category, Cheveldayoff. He's the guy who just consistently would be around the puck in the offensive zone. He would take contact while maintaining possession. He always had eyes to the net. He didn't get a lot of opportunities. He did get one or two here or there. But for the most part, I just thought he was one of the more consistent guys in our bottom six. We rolled lines. It's not like the bottom six means that much in a prospect challenge. But he is another guy that I felt in that category of noticeable, has something to his game, which is, in my opinion, just his ability to kind of keep the puck alive in the offensive zone and keep the puck heading towards the right direction. The more interesting pieces of this middle range. Brett Harrison, who, if you've been a fan of the channel or you've listened to Short Shift, or you know that I'm kind of just done with Harrison. I'm going to contradict myself after saying this. He's been lazy. He's uninvolved in plays. He's just looking for a way to shoot the puck, and that's it. That's the only part of hockey he seems to enjoy doing, is just shooting the puck. Which, I mean, how can you criticize a guy for that? That's the fun part. No, I just think in this game, I was really impressed by the fact that he was far more involved than I was used to. Is it at a level I'm still very happy with? No, not really. But he tried to throw the body around a little bit. He was getting involved in rushes where he might not be involved in the actual play, which was one of my biggest criticisms of him in the past, is if it didn't look like he was going to be involved in the play, he wasn't going to put the effort in. And it did feel like there was a little more of that effort in this game. Still has a wicked shot. He wasn't able to use it too often. He did have a knee-down clapper one-timer that went posting out on a almost open net, which was a bummer. But this was in the third period where we just couldn't score to save our lives. I think everyone was holding the sticks a little tight at that point. I would say this is actually a really good start for Harrison. I never like to say I've given up on a player, but I think in the past I have basically said I've given up on the player, so I can't just suddenly be like, oh yeah, I'm in on him. I've always been... No. I really struggle seeing this guy having an NHL career, but this was a really nice start, I thought. I still think he needs to go up a few levels to really get interesting, but I'll take it. I'll take the extended effort this time. Bancroft is a very simple, often involved in the play, pushing forward through defensemen, not afraid of the contact, consistently hunting the puck in the offensive zone. Just a guy who was giving a lot of effort and was consistently finding himself in an advantageous position around the net front. He didn't show off anything skill-wise, speed-wise, talent-wise that you went, yes, this is our guy. So he doesn't go into the higher level, but he was somebody who consistently popped up and you're like, oh, there he is again. So we'll kind of take that. Riley Duran, same thing. Like identical, same thing. I don't want to repeat everything I just said, but it's literally the same exact explanation. We love a little Riley Duran. I want more Riley Duran. I think he's going to be a great fourth liner in the NHL someday. I don't think there's any room for him right now on the roster, which is really bumming me out because we signed 1 billion free agents, but we are where we are. And then Simpson. Cooper Simpson. Recently drafted. Literally just like a couple months ago. I torched this guy's his skating abilities during the development camp. I was very critical of his ability to work through the drills, of his ability during the scrimmages to get off pressure and to make a play. I was also very complimentary of his shot, which is unbelievable. He has a wicked shot that he didn't really get to use. I also liked his stick handling. Through 2 periods, Simpson was a mess. It felt like he was way behind the pace. Every play he tried to make hit a stick or a skate or just didn't go where it was supposed to. It was not good. There was nothing he was doing that stood out in any sort of way in a positive light. But in the 3rd period, all of a sudden it was silky smooth. His skating, again, is going to keep him back for a couple of years. If he can really advance with that, this guy has a true NHL talent ceiling. Probably middle 6, maybe even second line. Is it weird when I say middle 6, maybe even second line, because that is middle 6, but like, if you're a true second liner, that feels like more of a compliment than a middle 6er? Yeah, that makes sense. 3rd period, silky smooth. His handling was better. He was keeping his head up more. He was getting involved in plays and actually sticking in them with his teammates. Is he too easily pushed off the puck? Yes. Is he a little slow? Yes. But when he sets up, he's a true threat, and people have to pay attention to him. I was really happy because through 2 periods, I was like, this is... Yeah, we're so many years away from this. And again, we're talking about the first 2 periods of a rookie camp with the professionals all around you. I can't imagine the pressure and the intensity of it all. So I don't want to be too critical of these guys. But I did like seeing a 3rd period from him where he really kind of started blossoming into what he wanted to display, which was let me handle the puck a little bit, let me have a little vision for my teammates, which is something we're not sure about if he really has or not yet. And let me shoot the puck. And he didn't get a lot of opportunity for that. I'm hoping in future games he gets a little more chance to shoot because, God, it's so good. His shot is so, so very good. I think that does it for our middle grouping, our top grouping. We're going to go least to best in our top grouping. So least, for me, would probably be Johansson, and that's not an insult. Out of these 4 players that are in this top grouping for me, he showed a lot of why you like him so much. He's big, he's physical, he's fluid, he's good defensively, his stick is really active, he gets in the way of a lot, he always has a good breakout pass, he's awkwardly talented at in tight spaces. Like, he figures out the situation where the puck's going, and he can get him out, and he can escape those situations pretty well. Showed a lot of what you liked. A lot of miscommunications, too, though. The first goal that the Penguins scored, him and Gallagher were on the ice, if I read the numbers correctly. I think I did. They were on the ice. Both of them backed off, giving the Penguins player all the time in the world to skate right down, dead center of the slot, and just go top shelf. So that was one of those moments, but there was a lot of moments for Johansson that I was like, oh, that's not usually what I'm seeing from him. again, everyone's just trying to get their stuff figured out early on, but he, by far, as far as the defensemen go, was our best defenseman out there. He's so consistent with his physicality and his positioning, even with the miscommunications as an individual. He breaks down plays really, really well, and he loves to get involved. He was almost too eager to get involved, which, I mean, I think this is something I've commented on in the past for him when I've watched him, is he'll run away from the play trying to make a play. Like, you know how I criticize Zadorov for just sprinting to the wall to lay a hit? Loke does the same thing. he'll just sprint off to make some sort of impact, and you go, okay, dude, the play's behind you, though. Might want to go back to do that. But when he's locked in and when he's just trying to break stuff up and doesn't try to do too much, he's super consistent, and it's really a joy to watch. It's a mechanical kind of thing. I would put Lush Melis in third. This might have some bias in it, and I'm afraid it does. I thought he looked really good in moments. In other moments, he kind of disappeared behind the crowd. I am biased with this player. I know I am. I've been talking about him for years. I adore him. I want him to be successful. I think he's the next Krejci for the Bruins. I love this player. I really do. I don't think he'll ever have the point totals that Krejci had, but like a similar type player. I am afraid that I watch him and I look for him subconsciously, and I tell myself, like, don't just look for him. Like, look, I'm afraid I'm doing it. But I think he looked pretty good. I thought his vision showed. I thought his spacing showed really well. His neutral zone defense, his alertness to where the play is going, like 3 or 4 steps ahead. You'll find him in a spot where you go, why is he over? Oh, now I see it. He's just really smart. He's a really, really smart player. I also thought his stick handling has improved. There were a couple of moments where he just went through a guy. The problem being is that guy usually just pummeled him after that physically, knocked him off his skates or just pushed him off his route, so it made it harder to actually finish the play. But he was going through guys with the puck. It was just the physical aspect that he wasn't able to maintain. A reminder that I don't think he should be in the NHL yet by any means. I always say the AHL is still big bodies, grown men. The physicality isn't that much less in the AHL, if not sometimes more. But it's still the better place to get used to that physicality. Way less pressure, first of all. I don't think this is way too early to say this, but he'd be a true rookie making it out of camp with the team when he would have to beat out like 6 other guys, and he's waiver eligible. So he would have to beat out 6 other guys to such a level where you would sit there and go, okay, so we had to waive certain individuals and lose them to waivers so that this guy could play. Like, he's that much better than all these other guys right now at 21 years old. I have a hard time seeing that. But in this camp, I thought he looked like one of the better players in this particular game. Pretty consistent throughout. The second one is Fraser Minten, who it should be. I think out of everyone we're sending to this, he is by far the most NHL ready. He's played the most NHL games. He's super consistent through 200 feet, defends really well. His neutral zone presence is awesome. And I like how he fakes them out. He loves to do this little, all right, we lost a puck going up to the blue line. Let me just take a little peek back, and then he'll just kind of curve in and try to pick off whatever pass they're doing. I saw him pull that move a couple of times, and it literally looks like he's trying to hide it. He's just like, mine, which I like. I like a lot about Fraser Minten. I don't see what Toronto fans, when we first did that trade, a lot of Toronto fans were like, oh my God, he's going to be like a 2C. He's going to be awesome. I actually don't see that with him. I like a lot of his game. I just don't see that level of talent that kind of, I mean, when you're a second line center, you are you're almost the pinnacle of your field. Like, you are one down from the best guys in your field. I have a hard time seeing that, but as a third liner, I think Fraser Minten has a good future in the NHL. And through this game, he was by far our best skater. By far. This was not close, which is why it's so impressive that Zajac was nuts, man. I don't have his exact stats. I didn't see the box score from the game, but over and over, his puck tracking was silly. Just everything finds his glove, finds his pad, finds his blocker. He was locked in this whole game. Someone tweeted at me, why do the Bruins just have an endless supply of goaltenders? Now, look, Swayman's season last year aside, we're believing Swayman's going to have a bounce-back year in a big way. But it is genuinely funny that the Bruins just find guys with promise. This is one game against rookies and prospects. But the guy looked stellar throughout. He is going to be pushing for the number one job in Providence. And it becomes far more interesting if DiPietro beats out Korpisalo for the Bruins. Because then, I mean, he's fighting an NHL player for the starting gig in Providence. I don't know. I'm very fascinated by this player. I liked his economy of motion. I thought he didn't get outside of his area too often. Sinks a little bit into the net too much for my liking, but he was also very careful with the multi-body situations he was facing throughout the game. The Bruins were doing a very, very poor job of preventing the puck from getting to the front. They were doing a good job clearing it out, clearing the front out once it got there, but that first step was getting there a lot. And he tracked the puck really well. I particularly think his tracking with his glove side was fantastic. There were multiple deflections that he was able to snag out of the air. That's really hard to do. This kid was super, super impressive this game. Hopefully we can see that continue. I'd love to know your thoughts if you watch the game, if you disagree with me on a player. It's always interesting when you have these broadcasts where you're being less controlled by the broadcast team itself. Whereas in a standard hockey game, NHL broadcasting team, they're pointing things out and you're looking at them more and more. Whereas in this, they talk about the background of the players more. There's a lot more just filling the air without actually doing the play-by-play. And so you're kind of locking in where you want to. You'll follow the puck, of course, but there's just things that you'll kind of drift off to with them. So I wonder if anyone else has some different takes for this. If you fell in love with a player way too early, please let me know. We love that. Everyone needs their mental health prospect, right? We all need that. It is hilarious to me that the Bruins did manage to lose on a defensive play where everyone fell asleep. They skied the puck over the heads of our defensive pairing, and on a breakaway for the Pens, player got behind him, and he just buried it on a nice shot. 2-1, very funny to me. I'm not, bitter about it at all. You don't really look for the results in this. You just look for individual play. This is a great start, though. This is a really good start. I think if you're walking out of this going, wow, Fraser Minten was really impressive, you can feel really good about that. If you're walking out of this with Johansson looked really good, that's something you feel really good about. These are prospects that the Bruins are high on and they want more from. Those are the guys that you really want to focus on. Everyone else at this camp, everyone else is either a low-pressure prospect or somebody that we know is multiple years away. It's not that big of a deal. Anyway, basic video. I know that this is just chatting. It's preseason for me too. I got to get back into the swing of things. Life has been hectic, but here we are. We're back to it. I missed you guys. Go Bees. Go Bees!